minutes. Thank you. I would like to recognize that the area we call the Fraser Valley Regional District has been home to Indigenous peoples for generations. There are 31 communities with reserved lands within the FVRD's jurisdiction and as many as 69 groups with interests in the area. We honor our commitment to collaboration, inclusion, and reconciliation in our work here today and call to order the October 23rd Fraser Valley Regional District Board meeting. First item, please.
Looking for approval of the agenda, and late items.
Moved by Director Gibson, second Director Reed. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
Item 4.1 is a presentation from our friend at the University of the Fraser Valley.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's so great to be here amongst friends as well. It's great to see
Absolutely.
A lot of you as well. So thank you. I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself to some of you who I don't know. I know a lot of people in the room and had a chance to meet with you, but I'm James Mandigo, and I'm the new president at the University of the Fraser Valley. And I feel like I'm amongst friends and colleagues who we share a similar name in terms of our dedication and commitment to the Fraser Valley and the work that you do to support our beautiful community from across the Fraser Valley. I just want to acknowledge and thank you for that work that you do as well. And I wanted just to spend a little time a lot of you will have been engaged with UFV over many years. Some of you since the very beginning when we became a college in 1974. And some of you maybe have not been as engaged. And I wanted to just give you an opportunity to learn more about your university. And we truly are your university, a university that was created by the community and for the community, over 50 years ago. And a lot has changed over that 50 years. But one thing that hasn't changed is our commitment to our community and serving our community and making sure that we are interacting and collaborating and supporting the needs of a vibrant Fraser Valley. So thank you for the acknowledgement starting us off today, Madam Chair, and just the recognition that in addition to the Fraser Valley Regional Council or Regional District, that UFV is also located on the traditional territory of the Stalo people as well, and the opportunity that they have given us to learn from their culture and language and teachings as well has made us a better university as well to be able to serve the communities that we're in. So a couple of key milestones, and many of you will be aware of this. We officially became a post-secondary institution in 1974. This was after two previous attempts to try and create a post-secondary institution in the Valley, and which were both turned down by the province at the time. But the community did not give up, and they pursued and were persistent. And because of that persistence, UFV, or University of Fraser, or Fraser Valley College at the time, became an official entity within the province of British Columbia. And since that time, we've evolved. We've evolved into a university college, the Fraser Valley. We officially became a full university in 2008 and became known as UFV. And then we celebrated our 50th anniversary on April the 4th of 2024. And the DNA of our institution is our community. It's at the heart of what we do. And so we serve, communities across the eastern part of the Fraser Valley. We have campuses in Abbotsford, in Mission, in Chilliwack, and in Hope. And we're just very proud of each and every one of those communities that we serve. And each one is very different and unique in terms of the type of programming that we offer, in terms of meeting the local needs of the communities that we serve there as well. Just some stats for your information that gives you a bit of context about some key metrics. Last year, we had the most ever number of students attending UFV in our 50th anniversary. Over 16,000 students came and enrolled in courses at UFV. Over 13,000 of those students were primarily local students, domestic students from right here in the Fraser Valley. And 3,000 of those students were international students from 70 different countries around the world. 64% of our students live in the Fraser Valley Regional District. 8% of our students identify as Indigenous, and we are just about to open a new housing complex on our Abbotsford campus that will accommodate 400 more students for a total of 600 students living in student housing on our Abbotsford campus. So a really vibrant and thriving community that we're creating all across the Fraser Valley here. Our employees, over 1,000 permanent employees work at UFV. contributing, who earn a salary of close to $150 million, which again goes into support local families and local tax base here across the Fraser Valley. 2/3 of our employees live right here in our communities. 4.6% of our employees identify as Indigenous, and we have 3 Canada Research Chairs who are focused on regional needs in the Fraser Valley around peace and reconciliation, around berry and horticultural research, and also around health and Indigenous communities as well. So we're really proud of the type of work that our employees are doing and contributing each and every day. We offer 130 different programs at UFV. 45% of those programs are at the bachelor level. 7% are in the trades. We've heard our Prime Minister last night talk about how important that is to nation building as well, and we're proud to be a part of that. Over about 8% of our students transfer from other post-secondary institutions in British Columbia. And some of you may be familiar with UFV as you do your first couple of years and you go on to somewhere else. Well, we're attracting students. Those students are now coming here from other institutions and attracting students from other colleges and universities across British Columbia. We generate over $5.4 million in external research funding, and that research funding goes right into local community projects and local community research on topics and issues that are meaningful and impactful and that generate new technologies, new knowledge, new discoveries that benefit our local community. And many of our students, over 25% of our students, are engaged in research. And that's significant because at most universities, that research is basically set aside for graduate students. But those are all undergraduate students who are doing research as part of their learning journey at UFV. Our students are highly involved in work integrated learning, so they're working side by side with community leaders and businesses and industry leaders. So applying their knowledge right in the workforce, and then also sharing that knowledge with local industry as well. And we have over 57 community partnerships with NGOs, government organizations, industry, businesses across the Fraser Valley as well that we partner with on a daily basis. We are one of the major economic drivers across the Fraser Valley, supporting close to 9,500 jobs are supported by UFV. And one of my favorite stats up there is that for every dollar that you invest in a UFV student, the community sees a $6.60 benefit return on that investment. So pretty good return on investment in terms of the type of impact that our students have once they graduate and leave our university. And our graduates are very highly successful. Over 90% of our bachelor students, when they graduate, enter the workforce and contribute right away and go into high-paying jobs, have low unemployment rates as well, lower than provincial average. So our students are highly prepared, highly successful to enter the workforce, enter the local economy, contribute right away. And I know the trades is a particular area that's of interest right now. And our trades programming offered at our Chilliwack campus here in Canada Education Park, again, is meeting the demands of the high demand trades that we need right now to build our communities. And those students are entering the workforce right away as well. And so contributing again to helping to build our communities. We recently celebrated our community and with a report called Steltalaut, which is the Halka name for community, and we celebrated this at our mission campus at the Clark Theater recently, and it highlighted just the impact that we're having with community and the partners that we have in community as well. And so every year we take a moment to stop and celebrate that relationship that we have community and pay tribute to the community leaders and change makers that we get to work with on a regular basis. Some of our research centers and institutes that are having real impact across the Fraser Valley and our communities. One of them is our Peace and Reconciliation Center, which is located at our Chilliwack campus here, and in collaboration with the Bank of Montreal Collaboratorium, working with primarily First Nations communities on identifying issues that students then problem solve and work with on side by side with local community leaders to try and find solutions to those issues that local First Nations are identifying and looking for answers and solutions for. Our Food and Agricultural Institute, one of probably our most well-known institutes that really works across the Fraser Valley and provincially as well, has been quite involved with provincial policy has been not just a local leader, but a national leader around food security and food sovereignty, and was recently received a national federal grant in collaboration with the University of Guelph to be the Western Innovation Hub for food security and food sovereignty for Canada. And so they're collaborating on a number of different projects on cellular agriculture, vertical agriculture, and looking at alternative proteins and the research and the science behind that to look at how we as a country can protect our food sources and how we can ensure that that's part of securing the food of now and the future as well. One of our new research chairs is in berry and horticulture, Dr. Lauren Erlin, and she's doing research right now looking at building climate or understanding and enhancing climate resistant berries. Berries, as you know, is a very big economic driver here in the Fraser Valley. And she spent some time this summer on an Arctic research vessel looking at berries in the Arctic, growing the berries that are grown in the Arctic, and how we can look at their genetic structure and bring that technology back to the Fraser Valley to create berries that are more resistant to the climate change that we're experiencing. Also looking at some of the blueberry the blueberry scorch virus and how we can help address and reduce the spread of this virus that's wiping out blueberry crops in particular across the valley and having a huge negative impact on those farmers as well. Some of you may have been involved with our Community Health and Social Innovation Hub, affectionately known as CHASI. They do a lot of work looking at social innovation, working a lot with primarily government and NGOs in the Fraser Valley, tackling real social issues that are impacting things like housing security, looking at an impact of the impact of the devastating floods that we all experienced a number of years ago. They developed a portal, a jobs experience portal for students who can log on and see what kind of jobs are available that they can do with their credentials, their degrees along the way. So aligning the labor market with the graduates and our students. We have a long history with our South Asian community, and that has been through our South Asian Studies Institute that was created a number of years ago. And again, a very special relationship with our South Asian community across the Fraser Valley, looking at South Asian Canadian research, a Canadian research legacy project that's digitizing a lot of the historical artifacts of the contributions of the South Asian community, and supporting Canadian Sikh heritage, in particular at the Abbotsford Sikh Temple, one of the oldest Sikh temple that exists in North America. And so again, promoting the importance of our community and the leaders in our community as well. We also, our students again are highly engaged with the workforce and doing work integrated learning through placements and practicums and internships alongside local industries, local businesses, that they're learning hands-on experiences and contributing to help those businesses flourish and bring new ideas and new innovations to the work that they're doing. And a recent partnership that we just established with the Abbotsford Chamber of Commerce is the Campus to Commerce initiative, where students get paired up with a local business. They might identify a particular issues, might be a marketing strategy they're trying to develop, and so they will work side by side with a student, perhaps who's doing a marketing class, to develop a marketing strategy that's unique to their own particular business. So it's tailor-made to work again alongside with business, giving students hands-on experience, but also benefiting our local community at the same time. Our city studio, again, another example of how we're working side by side with community and with municipalities across the Fraser Valley. This is an example of our city studio initiative in Abbotsford, working with Tourism Abbotsford and promoting tourism in the region as well, and our students getting hands-on experience and sharing their ideas and sort of brainstorming and incubating different ideas of how they can help promote tourism here in Abbotsford. And then recently, we were able to announce an official new designation for the University of Fraser Valley called the Changemaker Campus. This is an international designation that's recognized around the world of universities that are committed to social change in the communities that we serve. And so we're really proud of this designation. I think it's a tribute to the community. It's a tribute to the work that we do. It's a tribute to our faculty and staff and students and alumni who are change makers in our communities that we serve, and it's being recognized on an international scale now. And we join a list of a number of universities around the world. We're only part of a handful of Canadian universities. Royal Roads University. In fact, I was on the call this morning with the president of Royal Roads talking about collaboration and partnership, particularly on the agricultural sector. And so it creates a network of like-minded and like-mandated universities that are committed to making real impact in communities. And so we're part of a fairly prestigious group of international universities around the world, where we can collaborate and share ideas and share best practice on how we can best enter and work with our communities. And then finally, I'll leave with our newest initiative, which is our One Health Hub at UFE, where we've established this at our Chilliwack campus to bring together the best and the brightest ideas around business and technology and the trades and agriculture and health sciences and environmental sciences, around tackling some of the complex issues around supporting animal and human and environmental health, and bringing that in together with incubators, with local business and industries and partners and governments, in Indigenous communities, in ways that we can best promote and protect and preserve the ecosystems that we live in, and use best practice and best research and science to help guide and support that work. I talked about our capital project and some of the growth that we're seeing on our campus and our new student residents. And so today it's an open invitation to you and the communities that you serve. We'd love to be involved with your communities. If you're not quite sure, we're this big complex organization, and if you're not quite sure who to reach out to, email my office and contact my office, and we'd be proud to help guide you, support, and connect you with the people that can help you in your initiatives and your projects that you're looking for in your communities. So with that, I'll stop, and happy to answer any questions if there's time on your agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate this presentation. I feel like we're all fairly familiar with a lot of the work that you do, but seeing it all laid out at once like this was really, really very impressive. And I hope some members of the public are tuning in to see how fantastic our university is. We're pretty proud of it. And it's nice to see that same pride reflected in our new president.
Great. Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anybody which wishes to speak? Director Shahal.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. I guess I can say President Mandigo, because tomorrow you're having a big ceremony to get installed. And I have my back towards you, so it's kind of awkward here.
Oh, I can still hear you.
Okay, great. I bleed green, and I'm known for that. I'm a triple alum at UFE. However, what really intrigued me about your presentation was how it's scoping into a different area, in my opinion, a different area. It might just be growing upon others, but where you talk about support sustainable growth for healthier people, animal welfare. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's something that I've never really heard. And I'm wondering where that's a unique direction for the university for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And it's an area where we're really taking a bold leadership role in the province. There is no other institution in BC that is approaching health in this kind of way and supporting our community. And so when we look at the needs of our community, clearly, agriculture is a big driver of that. Agri-tech is a big driver of that. Our local manufacturing businesses and communities, some of the issues that we're dealing with in terms of climate change and housing security. And so how might we bring a lens to that is less siloed, that is more sort of we call multidisciplinary, looking at it from multiple different lenses. And our Stalo people have been using this practice this time immemorial of how they look at the relationship between the animals and the environment and the humans and the land and the water, and how that works in conjunction with one another. And so we wanted to reflect something that was going to be meaningful and rooted in the Fraser Valley, but also areas that we have expertise in. And so when we bring experts from agriculture and from business and from science and from health and from trades and technology, and we layer that together, and we work side by side with Indigenous communities, we work side by side with business community and leaders, and issues that are local and real, The people are challenged with trying to find a single solution towards when there's really complex, wicked problems. We feel we can help generate those conversations and come up with some of the ideas. And I think that that's the vision for what universities are supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about discovery. It's supposed to be about challenging some of the some of the ways in which we're doing things and doing them better. And that's our commitment around One Health is using sort of building off of that talent that exists and aligning that with some of the local challenges that our communities are all facing together. Yeah.
Thank you, Director Gibson.
Thank you, Chair. And I have very good memories of teaching students for many years at UFE on business and communications. So it's good to see you and good to have you here, Dr. Mendigo. My understanding is that the province is not keeping up with the funding to support the requisite growth that we're seeing and happily seeing here at our university. And I'm wondering if you'd like to share maybe a few thoughts on that situation with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity for the question. And so we receive about 43% of our funding, 46% of our funding comes from the province of British Columbia. About 23% comes from tuition revenue from domestic students, and about 26% comes from international students. So, that's mainly our source of revenue that we generate. And we're thankful to the province for the support they provide, and for the opportunities that they give us to be engaged in our community. And so, I just want to acknowledge that the province has been a really important partner and funder for us. The challenge for us, though, is, as we talk about our history, we were willed into existence by the community to serve the community and to support the local students to have a place to go to post-secondary education. And we've always fulfilled that commitment. We're an access-based, regionally focused university. And we have filled every single funded seat the province has provided. So we get a block grant from the province, and they say, we want you to teach so many students with this block grant. And we've done it. We've done it every single year since we became a university. The challenge we're facing now is that block grant hasn't changed in 15, 20 years. But the Valley has, right? The Valley's growing, and it's an exciting time to be part of the Fraser Valley right now. We have one of the fastest growing populations, particularly youth populations in Canada, and that's exciting, right? And but unfortunately, our funding the amount of funding to support those students hasn't matched the growth. And so we're going to be this year, because of our growth that we've seen, we'll probably be at 105% of our funding capacity, which means that 5% of our domestic students are not funded by the province. And so the only funding source that we can generate is from tuition, which is capped at a 2% increase per year, which doesn't match cost of inflation and our expenses. And that's why this complex relationship with international students has existed. And for many institutions across Canada, the same thing, because of the lack of funding that post-secondary has received, across Canada. Many turn to international tuition as a way to fill the gap. And so perhaps what's not well understood is that those international students, in addition to fostering diversity and supporting global initiatives and global ideas, they were also funding domestic seats for a long period of time. And now that the government of Canada is not allowing them into the country anymore, we're projected to only admit about 20% of Canada's target this year for international students. And that means that those additional revenues that many universities and colleges were relying on in Canada is no longer there. And so that's having a huge impact on our domestic students and funding, and particularly for us, to be able to fund the growth that we've been experiencing, and want to continue to experience and want to be still accessible to the young people of the Fraser Valley.
Well, yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you for that. I think that's you've expressed that very well. And the tragedy is, in our area, there's really only one option, UFE. Now, you can go to distant, you can go to.
It's the best option too, by the way.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, so we're challenged if somebody from Hope or Chilliwack wants to further their education, that it's constrained. So I wish you well with that. I know it's a challenge for you, and thank you for sharing that today.
No, thanks. I think the community we've always known the community has our back. And so I appreciate that.
We sure do. Director Smith.
Yes, thank you. So actually tomorrow is swearing in ceremony. So, and I know that we've dealt with him in Hope and had some great relationships. And I know the university's in great hands with him, moving us forward. And I appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, Mayor Smith, and vice versa. And we've had an opportunity to meet a number of times, and it's a great example of when we have conversations and dialogue about local community needs, and we've been able to create some new programming options in Hope to address local needs. And so when our community engages with us and have these conversations, and creating and aligning what our mandate is with what your mandate is, we can do great things together. And I think that we've really benefited from that relationship. So thank you for your work too.
Director Horn.
Thank you. Well, it's always fantastic to hear you, James, because you have a passion for the university and it gets the juices flowing. And whenever we chat, I start thinking about new ways that we might work together. It's brilliant that you're here, because as much as there's alignment with all the municipalities, really, we do have some of the very same challenges and some of the very same, at the essence of both of our organizations, the same aims of improving life here. Like Director Chahal, I'm proud to be an alumnus, and in fact, it's your fault because the university made me a teacher that I'm about to give you homework. So there's a couple of things that I think about, and as I walked in today, I joked when I saw you talking to Director Macahonic that we weren't building a campus on Chilliwack River Road, but really, the essence of that challenge is that there are a lot of people in electoral and outlying areas here that cannot easily access the university. And I know that Mayor Pranger, Director Pranger around this table, myself, the three electoral area directors and many First Nations on the North Shore would appreciate a support letter from UFV to BC Transit or through the regional district in favor of the North Fraser, funding the North Fraser bus route. If we're going to make a big difference in the lives of people in those First Nations, those electoral areas and in Kent, they'd probably like to come through Mission and either use the campus there or keep on going. And so I think that's the first thing. The second thing is, as I'm sitting listening here, I think there are a tremendous number of ways that perhaps we aren't aligning in our strategic planning. And I'm just asking, I'm not saying that we aren't, I'm not sure if we are. And I just want to invite you to, whether you have a comment tonight or to think about how we might do that. Our regional growth strategy obviously has referrals out to our partners like you. But I feel that sometimes we accomplish more if we just literally sit in the room and intersect processes. And I just think there may be an opportunity to cross-pollinate at this table with your planning table, because things like transit routes, just as an example, are critically important. So thank you again.
Well, thanks, Mayor Horn. And just tell me when and where to send that letter, because it is the number one issue that we hear from our students, and transit and the challenges of transit, particularly connecting our communities, is one that we hear quite a bit. And so I will gladly take that homework up and happy to support any initiative that would do that.
If you send that through to Ms. Kinnaman, I think we'll make sure it gets moved on to the right folks with the right awareness to the board. Thank you.
And just in your second point, believe it or not, I have read all your strategic plans and OCPs, and it's really helpful for me. We're just coming up to the end of our recent strategic plan, and we're going to be moving into a cycle of renewing it. And our board has said they like where we're going, and it rather than a redo, a refresh. And I think aligning that refresh with the community, with what this the district is thinking about, and your strategic plans, and the different municipalities, your strategic plans and the OCPs that you've identified, is an area that it's a perfect time for us to do this. And so I welcome any opportunity to collaborate to share updates and drafts and learn more about where the different communities and districts are moving and how we can best align our strategic plan with yours.
Thank you. I'm sure I'm not alone when I say stand ready. I think we get called out a lot of times to do things that are largely ceremonial or appreciative or to watch students in some pretty big moments. But we're also passionate about helping to make sure we're laying the groundwork for things that happen long after we're no longer here. Again, we have that in common. And so we work cheap cup of coffee. We'd happy. I think most of us, certainly myself, would be happy to sit in a room and grind out those kind of conversations in a focused way. Thank you.
And I'll even buy the coffee.
Okay, Dr. Lowen?
Thank you, Chair. Would you care to comment on the recent news that of 4 of your science faculty members being recognized internationally?
Yeah, thank you. It's always a great time when I get to brag about our faculty. We recently they were so there are 4 of our faculty members in the Faculty of Science, and then 1 faculty member in the Faculty of Business, actually the dean, were identified as some of the top 2 scientists, top 2% scientists in the world. And I think this speaks to how the evolution of UFE and how we're really punching above our weight when it comes to research and the type of research that we're doing. It's something that our faculty are really passionate about. And again, the kind of research that they're doing is really, having an impact in the communities, right? And so some of those research are doing research on things like critical minerals and technology discovery, and working with just communities in business incubators and business opportunities. And so again, issues that are really related in current real economic drivers for our community is the kind of research that they're involved in taking part in. So really proud of those researchers in particular who've received this global recognition, but really proud of all the research, all the faculty members who are engaged in the really impactful kind of research and scholarly activity that again is rooted very much in issues and topics that are relevant right in our communities that we serve. So thank you for the opportunity to brag about them.
All right, Director Adamo.
Oh, thanks very much. Through the chair, I had a couple of questions. One would be with respect to the trades and the 7% of your students are into the trades. What's your connection with the private sector in terms of support for funding to increase the level of trades participation, being that that's something that's desperately needed, certainly throughout the Upper Fraser Valley? And then the final, what's the most popular program or course that UNV carries?
So thanks for the question about the trades. It's again, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about our funders, but we have huge wait lists for programs like welding and carpentry and electrical and plumbing, and it's because we just don't have the funded seats from the province to fill those needs. And so working with private industry would be something that we've started to have conversation with, and it's been really interesting talking with them. I mean, they have no idea about these wait lists that we have, and they would say, well, we would help fund seats for our employees to come. It's a recruitment and retention strategy for them. It's a win-win. So I mean, we're doing a bit of that with what we call industry services. So we have a contract with Stellantis, for example, to help train auto mechanics, for example, on Chrysler vehicles at our trade shop. But we're open to working with industry and looking at those collaborative funding opportunities that are win-win for our students and for industry as well. I probably should take the 5th on the most popular program, because some dean is going to get mad at me if I don't mention their program. But since Dr. Shahal is here, criminology is probably one of our top programs as well. So and well known for. But I think we're really I think recently we've really made an investment in agriculture, and so we've been attracting faculty members from University of Saskatchewan, for example, from their veterinarian program, So it's an area of focus for us that we know is an economic driver for the Valley. And so we want to reflect that and train, bring in researchers, bring in faculty, recruit students who are going to be at the forefront of agriculture and agritech in our community. So I would say, those are our health sciences, our nursing program, really popular. Our business faculty is one of the largest on our campus. Our teacher education program, which we've just recently renovated our building in the Michigan campus, in which Mayor Horn is a graduate of. Really popular, really embedded in Indigenous ways of knowing and teaching. Each of our programs brings a special gift to our community, and again is very much aligned with what our community needs. And we know there's a teacher shortage in this province, and we decided that we had a very strong applicant pool of people applying, but they weren't being admitted, and so we actually added another cohort. We self-funded this because we know it was the right thing to do for the Valley, and now we have 3 cohorts, 96 teacher education students every year graduating and entering our schools right after graduation. So, I would say those are just a few examples of some of our great programs on our campuses.
Thank you. Last question, and then we better move on. Director Lum.
I'll be quick. I just wanted to make sure, Dr. Mandigo, you've heard from our colleagues in Abbotsford and Mission, and hope that you heard from us in Chilliwack as well, how excited we are for you to officially take over, be installed tomorrow as president. We've enjoyed a long relationship with you already, and you've engaged with the community out here, and we're very excited about the opportunity that lies at the Canada Education Park. We know, I think later on in our agenda today, our staff have prepared a commercial real estate market study, and you look at the scarcity and the value of institutional land, and it's something that UFE actually has an abundance of at the Canada Education Park. And we just look at the opportunities that you've brought forward with One Health and some of that innovation and the collaboration that you're putting forward. I got to be a part of some of that planning work, and we're really excited. One of the great things we get to do around this table is celebrate each of our different communities' wins as they get them. And so it's so nice to hear about the work that was done in Mission on the renovation, and wonderful to see the new facilities opening in Abbotsford. I hope next year when you come back to talk about it, the university will be celebrating some of that stuff in Chilliwack at the CEP as well. But we're so excited that you're here and that you're ours, and welcome, and thanks again.
Thanks, Dr. Lum. And I think we have a generational opportunity to do something really special at our CEP campus. And so, we've intentionally just spent time listening to our community leaders, such as yourself and others in the room, and others in our community, about what could we do? What could be our kind of moonshot to make a real difference in our community? And I think this concept of One Health has been something that's come to the forefront of what that might look like, and could be a game changer, I think, for the community and definitely at CEP and for the province as well. And we're getting a lot of really interesting interest from the province as well around what that might look like. So any opportunity you have to share that story, we'd love to have you be part of our ambassadors, because this is something we can do. We can do something really special there together, and just looking forward to how we move that forward as a community. So thank you for that support.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and coming all the way out here.
My pleasure. And I just wanted us to finish with a thank you to each of you. Each of you serve our communities in a lot of different ways, and maybe don't always get the credit and recognition for that work. And I want you to know how, as a resident of the Valley, and as someone who is involved with our university, just how much we appreciate that work that you do, that tireless, selfless work that I know you do, because you're committed to our communities and making our communities thrive. So thank you to each of you for that work that you do. We're really grateful for that. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Right, next item.
Item 5.1 is the draft Fraser Valley Regional District Board meeting minutes of September 18th, 2025.
Moved by Director Klutz, seconded by Director Dreesen. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
Next is item 6, which is the draft committee minutes for information and matters arising.
We have a mover?
If anyone just
Oh,
wanted to
sorry, we
separate
don't
those
need a
ones.
mover
Yeah.
for that. Any comments, questions? No? Next item?
Okay, moving to 7.1, we have the FVRD board and committee meeting schedule for 2026.
Do we have a mover? Director Shahal and Director Damo. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
8.1 is a 2025 grant and aid request for the Boston Bar North Bend Enhancement Society in Electoral Area A.
Do we have a mover? Director Johnson. Do we have a seconder? Director Adamo. Okay, seeing no questions or comments, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
9.1 is the Fraser Valley Regional District North Cultus Lake Sewer System Service Area Amendment Bylaw number 1793.
We have a mover. Director Reed, second by Director Smith. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
9.2 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Parkview Street Lighting Service Area Amendment Bylaw number 1794.
Mover. Director McElhonick, and seconded by Director Popoff. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
9.3 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Cultus Lake Integrated Water Supply and Distribution System Service Area Amendment Bylaw number 1795.
Mover. Moved by Director Dickey, second by Director Bargman. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried.
And 9.4 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Cultus Lake Integrated Water Supply and Distribution System Capital Construction Service Area Amendment Bylaw number 1796.
Moved by Director Horn, seconded by Director Dreesen. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
9.5 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Popcom Storm Drainage Service Area Merger and Establishment Bylaw number 1789.
Motion number 1 on that item. Moved by Director Dickey, second Director Clute. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Motion number 2. Moved by Director Smith, second Director Reed. All in favor? None opposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
9.6 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1799 to introduce a new definition for tourist accommodation unit and permit tourist accommodation uses with interior access. There is a motion for your consideration.
This is EAs only. Do we have a mover? Director Dickey, seconded by Director McElhonick. Don't see any comments. All in favor? Oh, sorry, Director Gibson.
Was this requested by somebody? What precipitated this?
Ms. Kinman.
Sure, I think I'll just turn that one over to our Director of Planning and Development, Graham Danilus.
Thank you. This is a result of an application. This is a result of an application from a party who's developing a tourist accommodation use in electoral area H. And they encountered the provision in our zoning bylaw that would have required the units within this hotel-like development to be accessed from the exterior of the building. So this is a change that applies broadly in the zoning bylaw to tourist accommodation units that enables access from an interior corridor to each of the units within the hotel-like development.
So this is a positive thing. It's something we're enacting something to actually benefit somebody as opposed to a regulation.
Sounds like it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
I'm moving to section 10, Chair. I believe you have a script in front of you.
I do. All right, get from the rowdies on the right here. All right, pursuant to Part 14, Division 9 of the Local Government Act, this is the opportunity for the FERD Board to hear from the public regarding the one development variance permit listed on the agenda for this meeting. Anyone who believes that their interests are affected by the proposed applications will be given an opportunity to speak. If you have any verbal comments with respect to these permits and you are joining us by Zoom on a computer or smart device, I would ask you to please press the raise hand function. When it is your turn to speak, you will be asked to unmute yourself. If you are joining us on Zoom by phone, please press *9, and this will notify staff that you wish to speak. When you are prompted to unmute yourself, please press *6. Those of you wishing to speak are asked to begin your presentation by providing your name and address, which will be recorded and form part of the official record. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes and confine your remarks to the application at hand. You could introduce the item, please.
Item 10.1 is Development Variance Permit 2025-07 to reduce the required agricultural setbacks for a proposed poultry barn at 36828 McCamey Road in Electoral Area G.
All right, any members of I don't think there's any members of the public here, so if there's any online.
Chair Ross, we have nobody joining us on the line tonight, and so there's no members of the public.
All right, we will move on to ask for a motion. Moved by Director Castle. Do we have a seconder? Whoops, Director Adamo. See no comments or questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion's carried.
Item 11.1 is assignment of license agreement for transfer of TM Mobile Inc. telecommunications tower located at 39500 Sumas Mountain Road in Electoral Area G.
We have a mover. Moved by Director Seaman, seconded by Director Popov. All in favor? And opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
Item 12.1 is the 2025 UBCM meeting debrief, and it's a verbal report from you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll try to keep it brief, just a bit of a rundown of UBCM meetings. Some of the rest of you might want to chime in. I thought we had some really great meetings. I'm really proud of how well our board members articulated and represented our issues, and really outstanding advocacy all around from everyone. And many thanks to Ms. Kinnaman for your support of the board during those meetings. I felt the reception and the tone from both the staff and the provincial MLAs was very positive and very helpful. And I think there were some really good outcomes. Just a couple of highlights. There was one from the regional district CAOs and chairs from throughout the province. We were asking for a one-window approach for local governments, and that the Minister of State be the one to liaise for the cross-ministry issues. And Minister Anderson assured us it is a priority for her ministry. So that was really good news. Some fantastic meetings, I think, with our Minister of Environment, Minister Popov. Sorry, Minister Popov, sorry. That's close. That's close. Minister Popham. We did advocate for increased funding for agricultural issues. BC has the lowest by far funding for agriculture in Canada. And I think that sounded like, we didn't get any commitments, obviously, but it seemed to be well received. In terms of illegal dumping and illegal soil deposits, Minister Popham is definitely very much on that. She takes it very seriously. She is working on developing a strategy, which she hopes to be able to share with us in the new year. At one of the meetings, the City of Richmond shared an app tracking that they require developers in Richmond to use, and we're going to discuss with them and with maybe some of our municipalities whether that might work for us. I have to say I was very happy to hear Premier Eby say that food security is definitely a priority for this government. So overall, I think I'm very hopeful that we will see increased attention to food security moving forward by this government. In the various staff meetings, I will let maybe if some of the other directors want to chime in who were a part of those and the EA directors, but just a particular shout out to Director Dixon, who's been advocating for, I think it's 10 years now, for some attention to Cultus Lake and all the traffic issues and such that they have with visitors, and asking for some help from the province. And I think she's been very persistent year after year to ask for this. And I'm hopeful that maybe this year we might see something actually happen. I think it was a very positive meeting. Two more things. The UBCM review is underway, governance review is underway. And so our FERD, we will be advocating for our position and what we want to see occur moving forward. And just a request again for the 2026 conference, please, bump up your travel budgets and make sure that we get as many representatives there as we can. And the Intergovernmental Relations Committee and the East Committee will be meeting again in November and discussing advocacy issues moving forward for the next year. One more item, I will be part of a Lower Mainland Local Government Association advocacy mission to the province next week. This is the first time the Lower Mainland LGA has actually done this, so I'm pretty happy about it. We want to advocate for the issues that are very unique and specific to the Lower Mainland. So I'm looking forward to that next week. That is it. Anyone else want to give their impressions of UBCM? No? All right.
Yep.
Next
Hello.
item, please.
Madam Chair.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, Director Victor.
Yeah, I just want to share
Sorry, Director Smith.
that our chair did the BC Road Builders did a driver's simulator course of rock truck driving, just in case she wants to extend her career onto something further. She did quite well. I thought she did good on things. Director Adamo was there. He ran over a lot of things, but I've got to say our chair did well.
Did I miss my calling? Right, Director Lum.
No, just really quick. So this was the first UBCM in 8 years when I've actually experienced a full UBCM. So I just wanted to just go on the record quickly to thank you, Chair, for all the work. I know how many meetings and how many times you were pulled aside to join different meetings, and just the stellar job that you did. It was nice to be able to watch from the sidelines to see you and how hard you worked. So representing all of us, I think that's worth a round of applause. You did a hell of a
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't see any other speakers, so we'll move on to the next item.
Item 12.2 is Agricultural Land Commission application for non-adhering residential use at 8279 Eagle Road in Electoral Area G.
Moved by Director Castle, seconded by it's EAs only, so Director Dickey. All in favor? None opposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
12.3 is Agricultural Land Commission application for fill at 810 Iverson Road in Electoral Area H.
EAs only on this one again. The mover, Director Adamo, seconded by Director Dickey. All in favor? None opposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
12.4 is Bylaw Building Code contraventions at 52984 Yale Road in Electoral Area D.
We have a mover. Okay, moved by Director Lowen, second Director Dickey. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
12.5 is the Hemlock Valley Resort Association Initiative. There's a motion for your consideration.
The mover, Director Clute, seconded by Director Barkman. All in favor? Unopposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
12.6 is Development Approval Process Review.
Moved by. Hello, Director Castle. Do we have a second? Director Smith and Director Reed.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question maybe through to staff, that with these minor development variance changes in the approval process, do we expect to see some good efficiencies, and is there ways that we might be able to, is there specific targets that we're trying to meet, or are those efficiencies being monitored for impact?
Sure. Chair Ross, I think we'll ask Mr. Danilus to answer that question.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, indeed, we do expect to achieve some efficiencies as it currently stands, even minor variances. And so this might involve a small variance to increase the height of the building over the maximum height allowed in zoning. Even moderate variances, minor variances need to come to the board. We do mailouts. And so that process takes a good 2 months from start to finish. And so with the delegation of those kinds of what are often not at all controversial variances, we could be issuing them in a very short turnaround time, a matter of weeks, I would suggest. And so that's going to make a big difference to many of our applicants, and projects won't hang up. We'll bring forward implementation details of the delegation to a future meeting, but I would imagine that our implementation approach would involve a reporting out annually of those minor variances that are delegated. And we would report to the committee and the board so that you have some oversight as to what staff are doing with this delegated authority. And that's the opportunity, I think, for accountability and oversight for keeping track of the kinds of variances that are happening.
Thank you. I just want to thank staff for their great work on this. Looks like some fantastic improvements there. Seeing no other speakers, I'll call the question. All in favor? None opposed. Motion's carried. Next item.
12.7 is the Fraser Canyon Complete Community Assessment.
Moved by Director Dreesen, second by Director Gill. All in favor? Motion's carried. Next item.
12.8 is the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund, Fire Department's Equipment and Training Application. There's a motion for your consideration.
Moved by Director Reed, second Director Popov. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
12.9 is post-disaster construction consideration for the Popcom Fire Hall addition.
We have a mover. Moved by Director Dickey, second Director Clute. Director Adamo.
Thanks very much. This was interesting to read, and it just kind of triggered a few things within Area B in our partnership with Popcom and our need to perhaps continue to, or not perhaps, but to continue to pursue looking for some ways to support or to grow our own system within the Laidlaw area, so that we can help them as they help us in the event of an emergency. So we've already started looking at the different programs with the community organization within Laidlaw, and they've been working with the Popcom Fire Chief as well. So this has been really good and important information to go through, but it does need to continue the dialogue in terms of having some additional support for when this next disaster does occur, and that we're all cut off from each other. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Director Reed.
Thanks, Chair. Just a question. I think that we're asking or directing staff to exempt the addition, which is option 1. Is there, and I apologize if I didn't read it correctly in the staff report, but is there a risk associated with not following it, or is it just financially better to not at this time without adhering any additional risk?
Through the chair to Director Reed, I think I'll just have the report author, Stacey Barker, comment on that one.
Thank you. So within the report, we talk about some of the risks that come with not providing this post-disaster building structure. And of course, that would be if there was an earthquake or a flood or some other catastrophic event that occurred. And mostly it has to do with if this building was impacted, there would be a delayed response to the community. Now, there are other mutual aid agreements in place to provide service, but if this community was cut off from those services, they would not be able to assist this community, so it would be delayed. The risk, it would cost more. The issue is that it does cost more, certainly. The exact cost is not known at this time, but there is also some efficiency risks that if this was to be delayed, this building, in order to raise additional funds to secure the post-disaster building funds, that we do have a new truck on the way, and that new truck is at the maximum length possible If we were to accommodate that new truck in the existing bay, it's possible within inches. And so that would be very challenging for the crew, not impossible to provide service, but if we were to delay delivery of this truck until those extra funds were raised, that could impact the fire underwriters insurance, homeowner fire premiums of the community. So there are risks either way, but certainly in terms of the major risk of not being able to deliver service in the event of catastrophic failure of the building.
Thank you. It seems, Chair, if I may, that the risk is probably greater if we were to wait. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Dickey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just would like to point out that for a very small community, this is an exceptionally expensive service that our community provides very happily. Much of the service which the Popping Volunteer Fire Department provides is for the benefit of the people on the #1 highway. And we're up to 5 trucks right now. We've got a 50-year-old building. We're trying to add on to it and still stay within a budget. So certainly the BC building code is much advanced from what it was 50 years ago. I'm sure that this is going to be a very safe building, and I would appreciate the board's support in us moving forward with this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Smith?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Director Dickey, his passion for his fire haulers, he expressed it quite often. He has a very good group of people. In a lot of areas, small communities have partners, volunteers. They have a fire hall that has heart and there to work very hard. And I know the district hope that we are a backup should something happen for accidents everywhere. They're very well organized and very, very lucky to have a community of that size with the passion they do.
Thank you. All right. All in favor of the motion? None opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
12.10 is the electoral area flood gap analysis and flood hazard infrastructure management plan.
We have a mover. Moved by Director Pranger, seconded by Director Castle. All in favor? None opposed? Motion's carried. Next item.
12.11 is an information item. It's the Emergency Management Program 2025 Fall Update.
Any questions on that one? Director Castle?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask, I noticed in the report under staffing and volunteers, there was some language in there around the vacancy of the EM specialist. And as we're going into the rainy season, I'm just looking for some reassurance that we're okay. Oh, and also, sorry, and also I noticed the language says we have only 2 volunteers for ESS, and I'm wondering if the only is we only have 2, but we're trying to have more, like if or if it's just saying we only have 2 because we only need 2.
Through the chair to Director Castle, I'll answer the first question, then maybe ask Mr. Danilus to weigh in on the second one. With respect to the first question, recruitment is underway. Certainly, we are well staffed and well experienced in emergency activations when they come upon us. And the program's not reliant on that one individual per se. I think where the challenge comes in, of course, is on our very small teams that the remaining folks have to carry on a heavier load. So we're very hopeful that we will be able to recruit successfully in the coming weeks here for that position. But in terms of public safety and readiness, I'd have no concerns with that vacancy. But I'll just ask Mr. Danilus to comment on the ESS portion.
Thank you. Through the chair. Our ESS, the method of delivery of evacuee support services that we use doesn't rely on volunteers, and so we're not looking to increase our number of ESS volunteers. We have 2 long-standing volunteers in Boston Bar and North Bend, and given the remoteness of that location, they're really helpful for us to have. And as long as they're willing to continue to work with us, we love to have them. But we're not looking to expand our ESS volunteer base.
All right. Seeing no other questions, next item.
12.12 is the Emergency Management Training and Exercise Program and Plan. Again, an information item.
Any questions on this one? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item.
12.13 is our Master Evacuation Guide.
Questions on that one? Director Reed.
Thank you, Chair. I actually just wanted to make a comment that I appreciate all of the emergency management work that's been happening in the district. And it looks like our manager of emergency management has been extremely busy putting together training plans and evacuation guides. And so I just want to acknowledge the work that's happening there. And it's great to see this happening without full direction from EDMA and guidelines, and that we're putting together a really great program here that others can use as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Right. Director Horn.
I had a conversation with somebody recently, and we talked about evacuation, and they were absolutely certain that the correct place to go was a disaster response route. And I said, no, that's the exact opposite of where you're supposed to go. I wonder, how are we positioned in terms of educating people before an emergency? What efforts have we considered, if any, in getting out the message to folks about evacuation? And I know we have Emergency Management Week, and we tell people to be ready with their kits and so forth. But as Director Castle just said, we're going into a season where mudslides, for example, are a common issue. What do we do to help keep that message alive?
I will just have Mr. Danilow's comment on that one about the public education component of our program.
Thank you. Through the chair. With the support of our communication staff, we use our social media accounts to routinely raise awareness of emergency preparedness and the risks. And that certainly helps. But I'm particularly pleased with the direction of our EM program. The next component of the program that we'll be rolling out to the public is what we're calling a PrEP program, and it will involve working directly with established community groups on preparedness initiatives. And so that helps us amplify our message through community networks, community associations, for example. And it gives us an opportunity to offer training in a really cost-effective way and raise awareness around hazards and risks and preparedness. So that's really the next phase of communication and preparedness efforts for our EM program.
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up, Madam Chair, if I can. As somebody who worked as a teacher, I know how often people try to funnel information through classrooms, and often not appropriately. But this may be one where I can remember knowing things my parents didn't know because I learned them at school. And I wonder whether or not we've talked with the local boards about helping with cards or other information that can go home in some backpacks or something similar.
That's a terrific suggestion. We do get approached from time to time with opportunities to do that, and we do it as we're able, but we don't have any formal program at this point of working through schools to distribute preparedness information. But it's a terrific idea, and I'll bring it back to our EM team for conversation.
Great, thank you. Director Dreesen.
Yeah, thank you. Just along the lines of communication with the public, in the report I read briefly about alertable is what it's called, but you didn't speak to that when you just answered the question. I didn't dive into it. I didn't go to the website. Is it an app to download? Maybe this is a good opportunity to speak to that a little more.
It sure is. Thank you. Yes, we use an alerting application called Alertable, and it's an app that people can download onto their smartphones, but it's more than that. When residents sign up for Alertable, they can also receive notifications by telephone, regular landline, any kind of telephone, and also by email. And so when residents sign up for Alertable, they can specify what communities, what areas they're specifically interested, for what communities they want to receive alerts. And then they are assured that they will receive all of our emergency notifications regarding evacuation alerts or evacuation orders, or even more broadly around incoming weather and other risks. So thank you for the reminder, and I'd strongly encourage folks to sign up for Alertable.
Thank you. Director Pranger?
Oops, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. There was an alert yesterday for high stream flow warnings, so it is a wonderful tool that we have at our disposal, and I would recommend everybody.
Thank you. Next item.
So section 14 is items for information. We're happy to separate any of these items for discussion.
Director Siemens?
Thank you. I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to 14.1. It was a very good report on the regional commercial real estate market overview, and particularly the work around the industrial land shortage and challenges. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is an issue that we really need to be on top of. And I just appreciate staff's work on this. So I just encourage fellow members to share that with your chambers of commerce. I know that we have a Fraser Valley Business Coalition. This really just, again, articulates some of the challenges that we are all aware of, but it will help amplify that voice. And I think the Jedi Ministry is looking province-wide at this issue, but I think we have some unique challenges here in the Fraser Valley, and we really are the economic engine for the Lower Mainland, and even more so in the future. So just wanted to, again, congratulate staff or thank staff for the solid work on that, and that I think this is a great tool that I think will be updated periodically. Maybe staff could just quickly explain how that will be updated, but I think it is a tool that we really do need to work on as a regional district, but as cities. So, thank you.
Sure. I see Allison Stewart is here with us tonight, and I know that she would be more than happy to speak on this one.
Yes, through the chair. I think the part of the reason for doing this work was to create a baseline. And so we'll be tracking this as part of our regional growth strategy monitoring report. So that information will be updated. But also if staff want to contact us to get different data that we can try and pull it out of the database. It's a really interesting source of information that we wouldn't otherwise have access to. But it does get into strata units and not just sort of fee simple buildings. So it does give us a bit more depth of information. So.
Okay. Director Lum?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm glad that Director Siemens drew some attention to this report. It was timely. I got to reference it to our first presenter, and I'll just point out that the advocacy committee is considering some work around industrial land shortage and brownfield. This is something that I hope we'll be able to discuss as we've moved some of the topics off of our advocacy calendar and schedule and looking to adopt some more. So I know it continues to be top of mind. Just staggering to see the per square foot cost, the lease cost, and what it's done in the last number of years. And even though we're outside of Metro Vancouver, we're pricing like Metro Vancouver market almost. So just the cost per acre of industrial, and of course supply and demand. We've got a scarcity of industrial land out here. Interesting that there was a question. I talked to a commercial real estate agent about 3 days ago, and they were actually from Metro Vancouver, and they were under the impression that we were under some of the same kind of regulatory environment that Metro is. Of course, the regional district there imposes some fairly strict rules around the preservation of industrial land all across the different local governments that make up the member municipalities. So they didn't know that we had nothing to do with that, but it was a little eye-opening that they were looking at different land out here in the valley, and they just made that assumption that we fell under that same category.
Interesting. Director Horn?
Yes, my only problem with this report is that we didn't get the presentation for the whole board because I thought it was very helpful to RACs, and I would encourage if there's time on an upcoming agenda. And I'd also ask that through the CAO table or through the CAO directly, we ask municipalities if they're interested in receiving it. I can tell you Mission, the answer is yes. I think would be very helpful for us to have this at a council meeting. Be happy to host you and Zoom is fine. We don't need to take you out of your home for another evening. But thank you for an excellent report.
Thank you. Any other items anyone wishes to speak to? No? Okay, next item, please.
Moving down to items for correspondence, if anyone wanted to discuss that one.
Anyone? Director Pranger?
Thank you. Through the chair, I would like to just say thank you to the many foster families in our whole region that provide a very special service to our community and to the kids in our community and their families. And I want to thank them for that service they provide.
Thank you for that, Director Pranger. All right, seeing no others. Next item.
Item 17 is reports by board directors.
Okay, I believe Director Gibson wished to speak to something said earlier.
Thank you, Chair. And I wanted you to know that one of our board members has recently become a doctor. Kelly Shahal has earned a doctorate at Royal Roads University just very recently, and earning special recognition. And the amazing thing is she did it in 4 years. And so I think we need to congratulate Kelly now for earning her doctorate at Royal Roads.
Yeah. No speech? Okay, Director Pranger.
Thank you. On behalf of the Fraser Valley Regional District Board, I attended the Fraser Basin Council meeting in Vancouver on the October 8th and 9th. It was a strategic planning session. It was also the first board meeting without long-term CEO David Marshall, who is retired and is spending time in Britain with his grandchild. It is also the first board meeting that our new CEO, Zita Botello, was in the hot seat answering questions and leading the board members through a planning session. We also have a new chair for the Fraser Basin Council, who is Janet Austin, former Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, following the many years that Colin Hanson was the chair. So when the strategic plan becomes available, I will share it with the board.
Awesome, thank you. Look forward to that. Seeing no others. Next item, public question period.
Yes, so public question period.
Sorry. Oh, one more. Director Siemens.
We just had an announcement last week that the Animal Health and Science building that is currently in Abbotsford that was damaged in the flood, they want to expand that, I think double the size. And so we just had the announcement in Abbotsford last week that it'll be right next to the university in the U district, and it'll be doubling in size. So that was a great announcement. So thank you for those that helped advocate that we keep that in the Fraser Valley. And so it's going to be home where it belongs. So thank you.
Thanks for mentioning that. Right, now down to public question period.
That's right. So public question period for items that are relevant to this evening's agenda. We have no members of the public joining us in the boardroom, and there are no members of the public online, and we did not receive any written questions, so we can look for a resolution to close the meeting.
Moved by Director Pranger, seconded by Director Gill. All in favor? Motion's carried.
Okay, we'll just take a 3-minute recess. Okay, Chair Ross, we can reconvene the open session.
Motion to reconvene by Director Pranger, seconded by Director Ketchahal. All in favor? Motion's carried.
Okay, so I believe you have a short presentation or announcement.
I do. Our we have been given an award by the Public Works Association of British Columbia, the Cultus Lake Wastewater Treatment Plant. So I just wanted to show it up, and many, many, many thanks to our outstanding staff who made this happen and the support of the board to make it happen as well. What's that? Oh,
The award was for Project of the Year.
Project of the Year. Yes, thank you.
And with that, Chair Ross, we can look for a motion to adjourn.
We have a mover, second Director Reed, second Director Dickey. All in favor? Motion's carried.